I would like to start sharing my meditation journey from the very beginning before I start to share some of the meditation techniques that I have experimented with in the past few years. So, I will do a series of episodes that will give me a chance to reflect upon my uh, invitation to meditation and how meditation has gradually become my uh, lifestyle or my passion, and what benefits also I have got and what I have lost if there is anything to lose. So to begin with, I shall go back to my late teens, around the age of 19, 18, when I first encountered with books by Osho, written by Osho. I encountered the books not as a philosophical book or knowing that their content, but I was gradually reading psychology or self-development books. I was renting, borrowing books from book renters in a nearby village, and I finish one book and I also borrow another every day, and I was usually reading fiction. But gradually, I started to read psychology books because there were puzzling issues I had in my family, in my intimate relationships, in my academic life. So I was, you know, uh, having some challenge, and so to deal with those challenges and also, to answer some of the questions that my mind has started asking, I started to read these books, and it was assuming that the book by Osho was also one of them. It was translation in Amharic. It was entitled Rasen Mawak, or Knowing Yourself. I think the book is not exactly translated, uh, but the content uh, was inspiring for me. So it's when I started reading the book, I felt something deeper, and for the first time in few months, I laughed until I cry, and I got addicted to Osho's books, and I was also you know disturbed or um, overwhelmed by some of his radical views, because I was just an ordinary you know semi urban village whose friends are books, academic books and other, entertainment fictional books. So it was a little bit tough, but I couldn't, stop. There is the temptation to read. I read his books. As you know, if you know Osho, he's an Indian guru or philosopher who has commented in almost all areas of human life. So those radical views seems to ignite more fuel on the questions I already was asking. Those questions I was asking about the existence of God, the meaning of life, why I am suffering, why my family is, in turmoil, or why people are acting in a certain way. Those questions that I have started asking were highly entertained by Osho in a very different way, which I couldn't find in religious texts or from my teachers, from my teens, from my peers, or from my parents. Even listening to radios and reading self-help books. So I was highly, impressed, fall in love with his material, and of course the author also. And he mentioned once in a while about meditation, about how one can find his inner truths or himself and the meaning of life through meditation, through silence, through witnessing, through observation. These were very strange concepts for me, but intuitively I think I have understood them, because as I have gradually discovered that meditation is our nature. It's not some sophisticated technique, even though there can be techniques that can facilitate that, but it's just like breathing, like walking, like sitting. And Osho usually try to make it as simple as that. He doesn't give, ritualistic, exaggerated, sentimental description of meditation. Rather, he tried to give us somewhat scientific and ordinary explanation of meditation. I have tried, to find some meditation techniques from other translations of his books. I couldn't find, of course, his books in English, and I wasn't as such also ready. Even though I could have understood some of his views, but I think English could have been a little bit difficult for me. But the translations were not as such diverse. But I found one book that lists some of his meditation techniques, and I have tried some of them. But since the books are also translations, and there is no one to explain to them, to demonstrate the meditation techniques for me, I was trying to understand and trying to experiment myself. But I find them strange, because most of them, the meditations that were listed, require some kind of activity, physical activity, or some sound for some dancing, some music. So I couldn't continue doing them. But the one which is very easy, closing my eyes while I sleep, or was easy. So I have tried closing my eyes and listening myself, but there was no anything that happened which Osho was promising. So I thought maybe I was doing it wrong, or I am not destined to have that taste. But deep inside, I know that I will one day be totally devoted to the life of meditation. And the lifestyle that Osho also describing seems to have also impressed me. He advised that someone explore life, explore his profession, and gradually that he will be unable to resist the invitation to meditation, since he will not find satisfaction in his surrounding, in his everyday life. One will be forced to go inside. Of course, that's what happened for me, maybe after 15 years, around 15 years. So after I joined university, I abandoned his books, because I have already acquainted myself with his views. I have tried to formulate my own answers. Some of his answers were not convincing to me, but once I have joined philosophy department, I found that his views are not as such radical, as such strange, because other philosophers have also more radical views. And also when I start to deal questions philosophically, I found that it's not easy to give answers, as Osho might appear to have answered them. Of course, he doesn't claim to answer the philosophical questions or questions of life. But after 15 years, meditation seems to have happened to me, which I will share in the coming videos. But the taste of meditation, which was so strange for me as an Ethiopian and as someone who was being raised as an uh, Orthodox and Ethiopian tradition, in which there is no philosophical or Eastern kind of insight. So, if you are interested in learning my meditation experiences and how I gradually grow up to come involved in meditation, please follow, subscribe, and like this channel. If you have also comment and advice and also other suggestions, you can leave on the comment side.